And then lastly, I just wanted to allow you guys in closing to, what does the world need to know and understand about teaching and the education system so that we can just be better? And Bridget, if you want to start.
Well, acknowledging that we're
Yeah.
professionals, and respecting that that we are professionals, and that we are highly educated. There was an analogy years ago that I just hung on to. It got me through the rest of the year. Was, we're like doctors. The only difference is all of our patients are in our waiting room at the same time, and we have to see them at the same time. Where a doctor gets them one by one, and that just stuck with me as a early on. I was never a young teacher because I'm a late bloomer, but early on that analogy helped me. And they're like, no, you are the same level as a doctor. Like this, the speaker said, you have more skills than a doctor, because a doctor gets to take these problem patients one at a time. You got to cure the whole class at once. So I think just respecting the fact that we are professionals, that we are
Yes.
highly educated. We have a skill set that in some cases cannot be taught, and we have a lot of odds against us through no fault of our children, of our parents, of our own, and that we're there for the kids. We're there for the right reasons. And I think that's missing. I think that the lower pay and the disrespect, and that now apparently we're not professionals, doesn't help. It doesn't paint a picture of who we truly are. We need to change that paradigm. We need to I have a daughter who's a teacher in France, and they are so respected over there. And she says every day she's respected. Parents, the students, the admin, um, their pay, their point
Appreciate it.
system. She never feels dissed, and she's not overworked. And French children in a middle school, Kimberly, are exactly like American children in a middle school. They just they just speak French. And that's why I always say kids are kids. But yeah, we need to be respected as a profession,
Absolutely.
period. Start there.
Absolutely. Kimberly?
I don't know that I could add much to what Bridget said, because she was inclusive of all the things that I am thinking
All the
also. We
things.
definitely need to be um, respected a little bit more, not just by, I think somewhere along the line, things kind of switched a little bit, and there are parents, this is not all parents, who feel that because we do have them all day long, that everything about their education is our responsibility, when in fact they need to partner with us so that their child can be as successful as possible. Notice when you asked the question about, we had two different school experiences, different kinds of students that we worked with for part of the time when we both worked in the same district. We didn't have home parents in the district or in the school that I was at. There, for many reasons, could be both parents need to work. There's other little ones at home. There's always different situations. But I didn't really have homeroom parents. I didn't really have parents coming in that could, or were able to, or were willing. It could be many different reasons. But they do need to partner with us. So when there's homework, it helps if they can ask, do you have homework? And say, let's turn the TV off, and you sit at the table, get out your supplies. But that doesn't happen in every home. But that's going to be the parent that comes to a conference and says, why does my student have a D in your class? Well, because we're missing a lot of homework.
Mhm.
Yeah. I can't go home with all of those beautiful 35 faces or 30 faces that I'm teaching. I can do what I can in that time frame, and the parents need to be supported. So many parents are, but I wish there were a few more that were. And then on the other side of that, I think that they've just as funding gets cut, they keep pushing those other responsibilities onto admin, who then push it down to the teachers. And we have nowhere to put that. We just have to keep taking it and taking it and taking it and trying to do the best we can with it. And it's a very stressful job. And I don't think that everyone's fully aware of how stressful it is to multitask all day long, plus lesson plan, plus you got to have your data ready for the meeting that's going to be on your prep hour, so you can't prep for your class that day because you have to have your data meeting. Um, it's a really tough gig. Definitely not 40 hours a week.
No. I always thank you ladies for both of those responses. I feel like they are spot on and very much the mission of $1 Million Teacher Project. Just a personal stance of mine. I always just think of it in terms of a professional job, right? So you think about the CEO who runs Google or Microsoft, the amount of money that he's making because he's responsible for, all of these people, right? So you look at a teacher who's responsible for 30 kids. Of those 30 kids, you're teaching these 30 kids how to read, how to write, which they're going to one day negotiate their employment contract. They're going to one day buy them a home. They're going to one day buy them a cell phone and read the terms and conditions and know how to, articulate a proper cancellation of a contract. And you put in the amount that teachers are paid, and this is a salaried position. And the reason why I say it's a salaried position is because teachers work all the time. Teachers are working when they go to the grocery store and they see candy apples on sale for 30 cents. And so they buy them for their classroom because they know that there's at least 3 or 4 kids in there that just need a smile. And this 30-cent candy apple is going to, bring a smile to them, to their faces. So this is a salary position that is easily 60, 70 hours a week. And then you divide that by their salary. So now we're paying the person who is responsible for our children's education and how they're going to move about in the world not almost, less than minimal wage. And then we don't even wrap our arms. So that's fine. Let's just say we could never just figure out the money. We also have not built a community around the teachers who are building the community around our children. Because again, when these children go into the classroom and they're hungry or they're tired or they just having a bad day, maybe because parents were fussing and fighting. So then we also don't give teachers support. And then now in this current state, they're not professionals. And to me, I feel like it's really important, us as humans who has all gone to school, us as professionals who are literally benefiting from the education that a teacher has provided us. There is a direct correlation from the amount of all the money that we make in our careers. There is a person who got us there. And that starts with our kindergarten teacher, first grade, second, all the way down. And we have allowed, we are okay with, we have settled for the lack of respect of how important this role is in our lives personally, but as a society. And we just have to do better.